What's up guys, Sekapoko here, bringing you another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. For this we'll be going over 2 bits of awesome information coming out to the Japanese version. First of which over here is going to be the brand new 35 million Sugofest coming out on the Japanese version and the voting portion of what we're going to do, what you need to do, all the fun things there. And the second thing we're going to be going over is the new Raid Lucci coming out on the Japanese version. It's going to be coming out on the 19th on Japan. We're going over the details of the unit, what I think of what you should do with this unit, and some of the cool things around him. Now, of course, thank you Koalasan and Worst Generation and everybody on the One Piece subreddit for putting out the information early and getting this all to us. Thank you guys so much. We really do appreciate it. If you guys do want the links on anything we talked about today, they're going to all be in the description below. So make sure you check those out if you just want the written version of these as well. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So let's talk first about the 35 million Sugofest banner and what's going to be going on with that, how you vote, etc. So the voting website is going to be in this link right here. It's also going to be in a link if you click over here in the on the cool button. It'll be this orange link right here. It'll take you directly to the voting page and you'll be able to vote on whatever you want to go to. Now the voting period is going to be from the 15th through the 19th, and there are 3 different banners with 3 different legends being rated up on each banner. So they're going to rate up the top 9 legends in the voting pool. So that's 3 legends being rated up on each individual banner. They're not going to be rated up 9 legends for one banner. Not to be confused. Just 3 legends per banner. So whatever top 3 are, those are going to be rated up for one banner, and then it'll be part 2, part 3, etc. So there is going to be, the part 1 is going to start on the 24th through the 25th. The part 2 is going to start on the 25th through the 26th, and part 3 is going to start on the 26th through the 27th. All right, so we're on here on the voting screen after clicking the link, and you can see here that there's going to be for the 15th, 16th, and 17th, there's going to be the Luffy, Ace, Lucci, and Doflamingo there. These are the top 3 most requested legendary characters as of right now. If you look at the voting page, when you scroll down just a little bit here, you can see that each page will have you be able to check one guy on it. So you can only vote for one character, so whatever character you want rated up the most, you're going to click them. So if you go and click, it's not 1 per page, so if you go here, it's going to be, you can say you vote for Croc, you vote for Akainu, whatever. Obviously, most of the legends here is like the mid-range tier legends are all here, some low tier legends, some here, there's some mid and low tier legends as well. Well, mostly just mid tier legends here. And over here we have all the good ones. So on page 3 is the ones you actually really care about. Of course, the top of the top, the tippy top of the top are all on the last page. So if you do want to vote for any of these guys, there's where you vote for them. If you want to vote for V2 Rayleigh, V2 Shanks, want to vote for the new Luffy Ace, whatever, you can vote for one character. And the first 3 characters are going to be voted up on are going to be on part 1 of the Sugofest. The second 3 characters are going to be on part 2 of the Sugofest, and the third 3 characters, so the characters rated through 7 through 9, are going to be on part 3. It's kind of weird because there's 3 different pages, so like intuitively you think, hey, maybe I vote once per page. No, you just vote once for one character, and then you're done. All you have to do is hit the vote button here, and that is going to be it. You want to vote for Rayleigh? I say yes, and that's it. And then it says thank you. Tweet the voting content. No thanks, I'm good. If I wanted to vote for Shanks next, I can vote for Shanks, but it says you've already responded to it the next possible at 0 o'clock, so you can't do it again. You can only do it once. Alright, so let's talk about the Sugofest in general, so you can hear a little bit more about that. Now, the Sugofest is going to be a 9 multi-Sugofest, and it's going to reset on each part, or each day, however you want to say it, because each part is 1 day long. Now, the first multi-pull is going to be a discounted 30 gem multi. It is not an all-gold Sugofest, but and we don't know any information on any rare recruits going to be available on any of the banners yet. Once the voting period's over, after the 15th through the 19th, then we'll know what kind of legends are going to be available on these banners, and it'll be a little easier to tell you what days I think you should pull for. The third multi is going to be a guaranteed 4-star or above or all gold pull, And the 11th unit is either a red poster, which will be rated up, one of the 3 rated up legends, or a gold poster, which is a guaranteed rare recruit rate up. To me, that sounds like shit, but I don't know how you guys feel. Like, the 3rd one could be red, but it could also be a gold. It definitely could also be a gold. It could be. Like, what? Why would you want the gold over the red? You would always want the red, right? I don't like. For me, like, if you're like super late game and you really look for subs, like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But for 90% of players, that's gonna be like ridiculously bad. I'd still rather have the red in general because reds are hype. The 6th multi-pull, the 11th unit is guaranteed red poster for any legend, and the 9th multi-pull is a guaranteed red poster from the top 9 legends from the voting pool. So on any day, if there is a legend in the top 9 voted units, if you do 9 multi-pulls, you'll get a guaranteed rate up legend, something in the top 9. So if you are a newer player without any of those top 9 units, and you only have, like, say, one of them, you have a very good chance of getting another one. However, we don't know anything about the gold batches. This is not an all gold Sugofest. It's not a 2x legend rate banner. None of those things are true. So overall, if you're a free-to-play player just looking at the Sugofest objectively, as a side note, this is kind of a pass on this Sugofest, not really a go-for-it hard Sugofest if you're a newer player. Obviously, there are going to be some people that are out there that are going to be really wailing on the Sugofest and going for the full 9. For me, that doesn't seem like a good decision because I do have a decent pool of top-tier legends, and if I did want to get some of those rated up legends, I don't really understand why they've structured them so that you've had the top 9 versus the top 7. Like, if it's anything, if it's like the 9th one was a guaranteed like of 3 units, that'd be amazing. But I don't know if I'm reading this incorrectly or whatnot. But for me, if the legend pool wasn't just 3 units and it's 9 units, I don't really see any reason pulling for 9 multis. But if it was 3 multis, then and I would get a legend, maybe. But so overall, I'd say I'm gonna pass on the Sugofest. I really don't see any reason to pull here. There's no new batch units, nothing. So for me, this seems like a pass on this Sugofest, not a hardcore whale. There's no new batch information, no treasure map stuff, nothing. You don't really get anything bonus out of this. So if I did, then I probably would pull, but I really don't see any benefit. The next thing we're going to talk about, of course, is going to be the brand new Raid Lucci coming out on the 19th through the 20th on the Japanese version for a 30, 40, and 60 stamina raid. He's going to be a very good unit, so definitely farm him out. He is a very, very cool unit. He does have some problems. A, his name is Lucci, and he's powerhouse. B, not sure if we want to raid Lucci, but it is nice to have Lucci sockets for your Legend Lucci as well as your Strength Lucci now. Even though most of us already socketed out those units, it's kind of like too little too late. But for the future, if we ever get another Lucci, like another Dex Lucci or such, it is going to be a nice way to socket out those Luccis. The original way of getting Lucci sockets with the Fortnite Lucci and the drop right there was so abysmal, no one wanted to farm it, so we just used socket times, etc. But I did farm it once, and it took me like all week to farm just one unit. It was really bad. Overall, for this new raid boss, it's going to come out right after the treasure mode ends, probably about 1 to 2 days after, I think. And we'll be able to have a nice reprieve, like a day or two of reprieve, and then we get into the Rob Lucci raid. So you won't feel like you're just like dying on content. We have to keep playing the game. So that's great. He's going to count as an ally you can rely on in the next treasure map, so that's going to be good as well. Just like every other treasure mode, the new Kai raid, the new raid boss, and the new Koalasan boss are all rated up in the treasure mode, so definitely nice, or not rated up, boosted in the next treasure mode. Now, this is actually going to be a raid that's coming out with a Kai raid, not Kai raid, a set of missions that comes along with it, and that's actually pretty rare. I don't think I've seen that ever. If I have seen it, I don't remember. I think that they came out on like the Mihawk raid for like the beginner raids and such, but I don't remember a new raid coming out with Chopperman missions. So that's really cool. That's really, really nice. We also have, of course, his max stats. He's going to max out at 2,595 HP, 371 recovery, have 1,574 attack at max limit break, not at max level. just max limit break. He's also going to get damage reduction as well as barrier penetration on his limit breaks, and is going to be a fighter and powerhouse character. Overall, barrier penetration. Oh, why you do this? I hate it. We're gonna have to learn more about his barrier pen as the day goes on and figure out exactly what we're gonna get with this unit. But overall, I really hate barrier penetration, and damage reduction is one of the semi-useful ones. I mean, if you can use this character on a judge team, great. Otherwise, this can be really tough. I was playing around with him earlier, and we were trying to figure out exactly how we're gonna use this unit, and he's pretty tough to use, not gonna lie. Right, so his captain ability is actually one of the best raid boss captain abilities in the entire game, which is really cool. He's going to be for fighter characters. He's going to reduce the crew's recovery to 0 when at least one enemy is defeated in the previous turn, boost the attackers by 3 times, and non-fighters by 1.2. So obviously it's going to give, it's going to be a really good thing for fighter characters, and non-fighters, who cares? Just bring fighters, basically. So it is really funny because this character is very similar to 2 legends that on the original release. There's gonna be Legend Strength Rob Lucci, and of course Dex Zoro. So if you combine the 2, that is this captain ability. So that's really funny that you're gonna get no recovery, but at the same time you also can make it so that your team is gonna get boosted, so that's really fun. And this is actually the best free-to-play fighter captain in the entire game, so that's very nice. Unfortunately, he does not boost any kind of HP, so overall, I mean, G4 is probably gonna be still more used in this character, but he is a nice static boost. I would still use Invasion Garp more often than this character, just because it's safer, cleaner, and easier to use, but you know, there may be some reasons to use this character. Now his special ability is going to do 100 times character's attack damage and 8 damage to one enemy, which if you did the math with max candies, that's going to be 174,000 damage, or well, sorry, 177,000 damage to one enemy. So that is a decent chunk of damage to one enemy. However, since it's just one enemy, it's whatever. It's kind of just, I guess it's good, right? When there is only one enemy when the special is triggered, delay the enemy by 1 turn and boost the attack against delayed enemies by 1.75. So if there's only one unit on the field and you're fighting a boss, this is a great unit to have. However, if you're trying to use this character to do max damage on like a room to then use a V2 Dofi special in the falling room, this is a terrible unit to use because it doesn't even work. But it does work on bosses with just a single boss on the field, but it won't work on like Raid, Doflamingo, etc. But they're more often than not, like probably about 7 to 8 out of 10 bosses are going to have no ads around them. So there is going to be a lot easier for you to beat the boss if it's just only one unit on the field. So this will be useful a lot of different times. Also, what really stinks about this character is it is, of course, delayed conditional, which is becoming less and less useful because of how many interrupts are in the game and how little you can use delayed conditional. You can use it on Invasion Garp and some other scenarios, but it's really difficult to use delayed conditional versus using defense down conditional. A lot more bosses have delay immunity than they have defense down immunity. But in those few scenarios where you do have delay, where they have defense down immunity and they don't have delay immunity, this is actually a very nice unit to use. His Sailor ability is actually pretty freaking good. It's going to boost the attack of fighter characters by 100. And I've actually seen this on one other character, and the other character that I saw this on was for free spirit characters with Koalasan Ace. And that is a really, really good Sailor ability. So if you are going to be using this character as a sub, that is an amazing Sailor ability to have on your team. That is basically 50 cotton candies are given to your entire team in addition to whatever cotton candies you already have, so that's very, very good. The Chopper Man missions for this are going to be, if you clear this up to 10 times, you're going to get 1 Rainbow Gem for the first clear, 1 copy of Raid Lucci for 2 clears, 3 copies for 5 clears, 3 copies for 7 clears, and finally 5 copies for 10 clears, giving you a total of 12 copies of Rob Lucci for clearing it 10 times, in addition to the 10 you'll already get, so that's really good. So if you're farming this on, say, the 30 stamina version and you couldn't actually farm the 40 or the 60, or you had to farm the 40 stamina version because you couldn't beat the 60 stamina version, this is a great way for you to get some extra copies so that you can get this get this done. The rest of us that can actually clear the 60 stamina version, this gives us a lot less time we have to farm as well. So this is good for players of all difficulty ratings. Very, very nice that they did this for us on the initial release so that we can actually clear the endgame content and get lots of copies and not have to worry as much about getting all like 60, 70 copies if we wanted to farm that many for all the sockets, etc. So I really like this change here that they made. It's very helpful, very nice, and I definitely will be doing that. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna max out this character fully, and then I'm gonna take 8 copies and save them in my box, and then I'm gonna wait for the next treasure mode. And just to save on potions, what I'm gonna do for all the farmable characters is I'm probably gonna have to use any of the farmable characters anyways, and I'm just gonna throw them into my teams, and then with those farmable characters like the new Kai Coliseum, the new Raid, and the new Coliseum character, I'll throw all 3 of those into my teams, and then just keep 8 copies separate of these characters, and then be able to use them in the treasure mode and get the free XP that way if I'm going to grind the treasure mode anyways, and get the free XP that way, so I can actually save up on some potions. So hopefully that'll be actually a great way of doing it, and that's hopefully the way they intended us to do it instead of us maxing out and limit break maxing this character right away. So that's what I think I'm going to be doing for the future for farmable characters because of the lack of potions we've had, and that's just the nice thing of being able to do this treasure mode. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for this episode of One Piece Treasure Cruise News. My name is Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you smack the like button down below as well as the subscribe button down below so we get lots of support in the channel and of course keep the channel growing. If you guys do want to get notifications on all my videos, make sure you hit the bell notification right next to it so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Have a great rest of the day guys. Peace.